Sure, here's part 1, expanded to around 1,300 words in simple, engaging English. Without any headings or violated content, Maya never thought her day would change so much just because of what someone put on her locker. It was an ordinary Monday morning, and the hallways of Lakewood Middle School were filled with the usual sounds: students laughing, teachers calling out greetings, and lockers slamming shut. Maya walked through the crowd with her backpack hanging from one shoulder, just like she did every day. She always tried to stay out of trouble and keep her head down. She was not the most popular kid in school, but she was always polite, finished her homework on time, and her teachers liked her quiet determination. Maya was one of the only black students in her grade. Sometimes she felt different from the others, but she had friends who made her laugh and teachers who believed in her. She thought if she just focused on her studies and didn't stand out too much, everything would be okay. But this day, everything changed as she turned the corner toward her locker. Maya saw a small group of students standing nearby. Some were whispering and pointing, but she didn't think much of it. She kept walking, ready to grab her books before her first class. Then she stopped. Hanging from her locker was a piece of rope tied in a loop of noose. For a moment, Maya just stared. She didn't understand right away. Then her heart started beating faster, and her hands began to shake. She had seen pictures of nooses in her history books, but she never thought she would see one in real life. And definitely not at her own school. Other students began to gather around, some staring in shock, others whispering quietly. Maya felt her face grow hot as everyone looked at her. She didn't know what to do. Should she pull it down? Should she run away? Should she pretend she didn't see it? Her friend Jenny came up beside her and put a hand on her shoulder. "Maya, are you okay?" Jenny asked softly. Maya tried to speak, but the words got stuck in her throat. She felt tears building in her eyes. But she didn't want to cry in front of everyone. A teacher, Mr. Reynolds, noticed the crowd and walked over. When he saw the noose, his face turned pale. He carefully took it down and told everyone to get to class. He told Maya to come with him to the office. The walk to the principal's office felt like the longest walk of Maya's life. She could feel all the eyes following her, and she heard bits of conversation behind her. "Who would do that?" someone said. "Why would anyone be so mean?" another whispered. In the office, Principal Harris asked Maya to sit down. She tried to ask her questions gently, but Maya couldn't say much. She just shook her head, still in shock. The principal called Maya's mother, asking her to come to school right away. While they waited, the counselor tried to comfort Maya. She gave her a cup of water and told her that everything would be okay. Maya wasn't sure she believed her. She wondered who would hate her enough to do something like this. Was it someone she knew? Was it just a joke? It didn't feel like a joke to Maya. When Maya's mom arrived, she rushed to her side and hugged her tightly. Maya finally let herself cry, hiding her face in her mother's arms. Her mom stroked her hair and whispered, "You're safe now, baby. I'm here." The school tried to reassure them that they would investigate. Principal Harris promised that they would review the security cameras and talk to the students. Maya's mom listened quietly, but Maya could see that her mom's face was serious and worried. After filling out a report, Maya and her mom left the school. Maya felt strange walking out in the middle of the day. She wanted to be anywhere but at school, but she also felt sad to leave her friends behind. She wondered what they would say about her. She wondered if people would blame her, or if they would forget about her. The car ride home was quiet at first. Maya watched the trees pass. By outside the window, she felt tired, like all the energy had been drained from her body. Her mom finally broke the silence. "You did nothing wrong, Maya," she said. "Don't ever let anyone make you feel small. You're strong and you are loved." Maya nodded, but she didn't feel strong. She felt scared and confused. Didn't know how to explain it, even to herself. When they got home, Maya's mom made her some tea and sat with her at the kitchen table. They talked about what happened, little by little. Maya's mom listened to everything, never interrupting. When Maya finished, her mom gave her a long hug. Later that evening, Maya's mom called Maya's father. Maya's dad was away for work most of the time. He was a quiet man with a calm and steady presence. He didn't talk much about his job, but Maya knew he did something important in the military. Her friends sometimes asked about him, but she usually just said he traveled a lot for work. When her father called back, Maya's mom told him everything that happened. Maya listened as her mom spoke softly but firmly, telling him about the Noose, the teachers, and how Maya felt. Her father listened carefully. He didn't get angry or shout. Instead, he asked Maya to come to the phone. "Maya," he said in a gentle voice, "I'm so sorry this happened to you. But I want you to remember that you are brave. You're my daughter, and you are never alone." Hearing her father's voice made Maya feel a little bit better. He told her he would be home soon and that he loved her very much. After the call, Maya felt a bit calmer. She still didn't understand why anyone would do something so cruel, but she knew her family was behind her. As the evening went on, neighbors called to check on them. Some of Maya's friends sent her messages online, telling her they were sorry and asking if she was okay. Even though Maya still felt sad, she realized she had people who cared about her. She was still scared about going back to school, but she knew her parents would help her. As she got ready for bed, Maya made a decision. She wouldn't let this act of hate define her. Yes, she would try her best to keep going, no matter how hard. It felt that night, as she drifted off to sleep, Maya thought about her father's words and her mother's hug. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew she was not alone. She would find a way to be strong, even when it was difficult. And in the back of her mind, she felt a small spark of hope that maybe things would get better, and that people would see her for who she truly was, a kind, brave girl who deserved respect and kindness just like everyone else. Of course, here is part 2, expanded to around 1,300 words and simple. Engaging English, without any headings or violated content. Maya's father, Marcus, arrived late that night. The house was already quiet, but Maya was still awake in her room, her thoughts spinning like a washing machine. She heard the front door open and close softly, then the deep sound of her father's voice as he greeted her mother. Maya listened as her parents talked in the kitchen. Even though their voices were low, she could tell her father was serious. She heard her name mentioned more than once, and her mother's voice was soft but steady. After a while, Marcus came to Maya's room and knocked on the door. "Can I come in, Maya?" he asked gently. Maya nodded, sitting up in bed as her father entered. He looked tired from his long journey, but his eyes were full of love and concern. He sat on the edge of the bed and reached for Maya's hand. "Your mom told me everything," he said quietly. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that. How are you feeling?" Maya tried to answer, but she just shrugged and looked down. "I feel sad, and a little bit scared. I keep thinking about it over and over," she whispered. Marcus squeezed her hand. "It's okay to feel that way. Sometimes people do things that hurt us, and it's hard to understand why. But none of this is your fault. You didn't do anything wrong." Maya looked at her father's strong hands and remembered how he used to carry her on his shoulders when she was small. She always felt safe with him. "Dad, why would someone do something so mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. Marcus took a deep breath before answering. "Sometimes people act out of fear or ignorance. Sometimes they follow others instead of thinking for themselves. But the important thing is how we respond." You showed a lot of courage today, Maya. Maya felt tears well up in her eyes again, but she tried to blink them away. She didn't want to cry anymore. Her father hugged her, holding her close. "You are strong, Maya, and we are going to get through this together. I promise." They sat quietly for a few minutes. Then Marcus asked, "Would you like me to come with you to school tomorrow?" Maya nodded. She wasn't sure what would happen, but she knew she didn't want to face it alone. The next morning, Maya woke up feeling nervous, but also a little bit hopeful. Her father was already dressed and waiting in the kitchen, sipping coffee. He wore simple clothes, but even then he looked different. There was something about the way he stood, calm and confident, that made Maya feel protected. Her mom made breakfast, and for a little while, things felt almost normal. Ah, Maya's father joked, softly with her, trying to make her smile. You know, when I was your age, I was scared to go to school after I lost my homework, he said, pretending to be serious. Maya gave a small laugh, and her father winked at her. It was a small moment, but it helped break the heavy feeling. In the room, when it was time to leave, Marcus put his arm around Maya's shoulders and led her to the car. The drive to school was quiet, but not uncomfortable. Maya stared out the window, her mind jumping from one thought to another. People still be whispering. Would they look at her differently now? Would the bullies try something else? They arrived a little earlier than usual. The school grounds were quieter, with only a few students walking in the hallway. Marcus and Maya walked to the front office together. Maya's heart pounded in her chest, but she felt a little stronger with her father by her side. The school. Secretary looked up in surprise when they entered. "Good morning, Marcus," said politely. "I'm Marcus, Maya's father. We have an appointment with Principal Harris." The secretary nodded and showed them to a waiting area. After a few minutes, Principal Harris came out to greet them. She shook Marcus's hand and invited them into her office. The principal tried to sound confident, but Maya could tell she was nervous. She started by explaining what the school was doing about the incident. "We are reviewing camera footage from the hallway, and we are talking to students who might have seen something," she said. "We take this very seriously." Marcus listened, carefully nodding but not saying much at first. Finally he spoke, his voice calm but strong. "Thank you for your efforts, Principal Harris, but I want to make sure you understand how serious this is. This wasn't just a silly prank. It was a threat message meant to scare and hurt my daughter. I want to know what you're doing to protect her and to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else." The principal shifted in her chair and promised they would do everything they could. She said the students responsible would be punished and that there would be an assembly to talk about respect and kindness. Marcus listened, then leaned forward. "I want to be clear. My family has faced challenges before, and we always stand up for what is right. My daughter will not be made to feel unsafe in this school. I hope you will make sure every child is protected, not just Maya." Principal Harris nodded, looking a little flustered. "Of course, Mr. Johnson, we want every student to feel safe here." After the meeting, Marcus and Maya walked out into the hallway. Maya saw a few students looking at them, whispering to each other. She felt nervous, but her father put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Hold your head up, Maya," he whispered. "You are stronger than you think." Word began to spread around the school that Maya's father was not just any parent. He was a Navy SEAL. Nobody at school had known this before. Most kids didn't know what a Navy SEAL did, but they had seen movies and heard stories about how tough and brave SEALs were. The story traveled quickly, and by lunchtime, everyone was talking about it. Some students started to look at Maya differently, not with pity, but with new respect. Others seemed unsure how to act. The students who had hung the noose heard the news too, and some of them started to look nervous and worried. Rumors flew around. Some kids said Maya's dad was going to come back and yell at everyone, while others said the police might come to school that day. The teachers seemed more attentive. Mr. Reynolds, the teacher who found the noose, made sure to check in on Maya and asked if she wanted to talk. Some of Maya's friends sent her messages saying they were sorry for what happened and asking if she was okay. When Maya got home, she told her parents about her day. She said she felt strange being the center of attention, but she was glad. Her father had come to school with her. "I don't want people to be scared of you, Dad," Maya said quietly. Marcus smiled and gave her a gentle hug. "People respect strength, Maya, but real strength is about standing up for yourself and others, not making people afraid." That evening, Maya's father spent time with her in the backyard. They played basketball, and for a while Maya forgot all about the incident at school. She laughed as her father pretended to let her win. She felt a little bit more like herself again. Before bedtime, Marcus sat down with Maya and talked to her about bravery. "Courage doesn't mean you aren't scared," he explained. "It means you keep going, even when you are afraid. I see that courage in you every day." As Maya lay in bed that night, she felt a sense of peace. She knew things were not perfect, and that tomorrow might be hard again. But she also knew she wasn't alone. She had her family, her friends, and the strength her father had given her not. just with his words. But by standing by her side, Maya drifted off to sleep, feeling safer and more hopeful than she had the night before. Whatever happened next, she was ready to face it because she knew her family would always have her back. ChatGPT said, "Sure, here's part 3 expanded to around 1,300 words and simple. Engaging English, without any heading or violated content." The next morning, the air at Lakewood Middle School felt different. Everyone was whispering and exchanging nervous glances in the hallway. Word had spread that Maya's father was not just a regular parent, but a Navy SEAL. Some students imagined her father as a superhero or a secret agent from a movie. Others were just curious or nervous. The teachers seemed extra watchful as students made their way to their first classes. Maya walked into school with her head up, trying to stay calm, even as her stomach felt tight. She noticed some students move aside to let her pass. Some gave her friendly nods. A few looked away quickly, feeling awkward. Maya's friends, Jenny and Ava, joined her by her locker. Jenny whispered, "Everyone's talking about your dad. Is it true?" Maya nodded, not wanting to make a big deal out of it. "He just wants to make sure I'm okay," she said quietly. Before the first bell rang, the school office called for Maya, her parents, and the students who had been seen near Maya's locker the day before. Maya walked to the office with her mother by her side. Her father was already there, standing tall and calm in a simple navy blue shirt and jeans. Even when he wasn't wearing his uniform, there was something about him that made people pay attention. He shook hands with Principal Harris and then turned to greet Maya with a warm smile. "How are you doing, champ?" he asked, gently squeezing her shoulder. The principal led them into her office where 2 teachers and the parents of 3 students were waiting. Students sat in silence, looking nervous. One of them, a boy named Tyler, looked down at his shoes. Another, Emily, glanced at Maya and quickly looked away. Principal Harris cleared her throat. "We're here to talk about what happened yesterday and to make sure everyone understands how serious it is. We've reviewed the camera footage and spoken to some students. We know who was involved in hanging the noose, and we're taking action." Marcus leaned forward, his voice quiet but firm. "Thank you for looking into this, Principal Harris. I want to be sure everyone understands. This wasn't just a prank. It was a hateful act that could have left deep scars. My daughter should not feel unsafe at her own school." The parents of the other students looked uncomfortable. Tyler's mother apologized, saying her son didn't understand what he was doing. Marcus nodded but said, "Even if they didn't understand, it's important they learn now. These actions have real meaning, they hurt people. And we all have a duty to make sure this never happens again." The principal explained that the students responsible would be suspended for several days, and that the school would hold a special assembly to talk about respect, kindness, and the dangers of racism and bullying. Marcus listened, his eyes steady. "Thank you for taking this seriously," he said. "I hope you'll also give Maya and every student here the chance to speak and to feel safe." After the meeting, Marcus walked Maya to her classroom. As they went down the hall, some students watched them, curious and unsure. Some whispered to each other, but no one said anything unkind. When they reached the classroom, Marcus knelt beside Maya and looked her in the eyes. "I'm proud of you," he said quietly. "You're handling this with so much courage. If you need anything, I'm just a call away." Maya hugged her father before going inside. She felt stronger knowing he was looking out for her. As she took her seat, her teacher, Ms. Turner, smiled and gave her an encouraging nod. The lesson began, but Maya could still feel all the eyes on her. During lunch, Maya sat with Jenny and Ava in the cafeteria. Jenny was angry. "I can't believe anyone would do that to you," she said, shaking her head. "Are you okay?" Maya took a deep breath and nodded. "I think I'm okay. It's just weird. Everyone's watching me now," Eva added. "You're really brave. My mom said your dad's a hero. She said if he's here, things will get better." Maya gave a small smile, grateful for her friends. By the afternoon, news spread that the students responsible had been suspended. Some people said they deserved it, while others said it was too harsh. Maya heard people whispering, but for the first time, she didn't feel completely alone. Some students even came up to her and apologized for what happened, even if they hadn't been involved. "I'm sorry, Maya," one girl said. "If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here." After classes ended, the principal made an announcement over the intercom. "Tomorrow, we'll be holding a school-wide assembly to discuss respect, kindness, and how we treat one another. Every student is encouraged to attend." Maya's heart beat faster. She was nervous about what the assembly would be like, but she also felt hopeful. Maybe something good could come from this. When Maya got home that afternoon, her parents were waiting for her. Marcus asked her about her day, listening to everything she said. Maya told him about the meeting, the way the teachers acted, and how some students had apologized to her. "That's a start," Marcus said. "But sometimes the hardest things help us grow the most. But it's not your job to fix everything, Maya. You just need to be yourself and stand tall." That evening, Marcus and Maya's mom sat with her and talked about what would happen next. "We're proud of you for speaking up," her mom said. "Tomorrow's assembly is a chance to help other kids understand what you've gone through. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but we'll be there for you no matter what." Maya thought about it all night. She knew some people would look at her differently now, and that things might not go back to normal, right away. But she also saw how her father stood up for her, not by shouting or making threats, but by calmly telling the truth and demanding respect. The next morning, the school gym was filled with rows of folding chairs. All the students and teachers gathered, buzzing with nervous energy. Marcus sat near the front with Maya and her mom, quietly waiting as Principal Harris took the stage. She talked about the school's responsibility to make every student feel safe. She told the story of what happened, not mentioning names, but making it clear how hurtful such actions could be. Then she introduced Marcus, explaining that he wanted to share a few words. Marcus stood, his presence commanding the room's attention without effort. He spoke simply and honestly, telling everyone that he had risked his life for his country, alongside people of every background. He talked about the meaning of courage and respect, and how the true strength of a community comes from standing together against hate. He didn't mention his job as a Navy SEAL to brag, but to remind everyone that dignity and bravery are not about being tough, they are about doing what is right. The students listened in silence. Some shifted in their seats, while others watched. Marcus, with wide eyes, he finished by asking everyone to look around at their classmates and remember that they all belonged there, no matter where they came from or what they looked like. When the assembly ended, several teachers and students approached Maya to thank her and her father. One teacher told Marcus, "Your words made a real difference today. Thank you for reminding us what really matters." For the first time since the incident, Maya felt like she could breathe a little easier. She saw that even though bad things had happened, she and her family had the strength to face them together. She was not alone, and maybe, just maybe, things at school could start to change for the better. Your Here's Part 4 expanded to around 1,300 words in simple, engaging English, without any headings or violated content, after the assembly. Things at school began to change slowly but surely. Maya noticed that more students were paying attention to how they treated each other. Teachers made an effort to talk about respect and kindness in their classes. And some students who had stayed quiet before started to speak up when they saw bullying or hurtful behavior. Marcus stayed involved too. He didn't just come to school once and leave. He visited several times over the next few weeks, talking to teachers and students, sharing his experiences and encouraging everyone to stand against hate. He was careful to listen as much as he spoke. Marcus wanted to help create a community where all children felt safe and valued. One day, the school counselor invited Maya and some other students to join a new after-school group. The group was called Voices for Unity, and it was a safe place where students could share their stories, talk about their feelings, and support one another. Maya was nervous at first, but when she walked into the room and saw other kids, her age, who had faced hard times too, she felt a small spark of hope. The first meeting was quiet. Everyone was shy, but the counselor gently asked questions that helped them open up. Maya listened to stories about being different, about feeling left out, and about bullying. When it was her turn, she spoke about the Noose incident, about how scared and hurt she had felt, but also about the strength she found in her family and friends. The other students listened carefully and then shared their own stories. She wasn't the only one who had been through difficult times. They talked about how sometimes people act mean because they don't understand others or because they feel afraid themselves. The group decided they wanted to do something to help their whole school be kinder. Together, they planned a kindness week with posters, activities, and messages to remind everyone to respect each other. Maya helped design some of the posters, using bright colors and words like unity, respect, and courage. The school hallways soon became filled with these hopeful signs. As Kindness Week began, Maya felt proud. She walked through the halls and saw students smiling and talking in a different way. Some of the bullies who had caused trouble before stayed quiet or even apologized. Teachers noticed the change too and praised the students for their effort. Maya's confidence grew. She started raising her hand more in class and joined a club that organized community service projects. She wanted to be part of something bigger, to help others find their voice just like she had. At home, Marcus and Maya's mom watched her with pride. Marcus often reminded Maya that bravery wasn't just about facing danger in faraway places. It was about standing up for what is right in everyday life. "You're teaching others how to be strong and kind," he told her one evening as they sat on the porch. Now Maya felt a new sense of purpose. She began writing in her journal, recording her thoughts and dreams. She wrote about her hopes for a school where no one felt scared or alone, where everyone could be themselves and be respected. One afternoon, Maya was invited to speak at a community meeting about bullying and respect. She was nervous, but remembered her father's words about courage. Standing in front of a crowd of adults and children, she told her story honestly and with heart. She spoke about the pain of being targeted, but also about the healing power of support and understanding. Her words moved many people. Some adults came up to her afterward, thanking her for sharing and promising to help make the community safer. Maya realized that her experience, though painful, was helping to make a difference beyond just her school. At school, Maya's friendships deepened. She found a group of friends who accepted her for who she was and stood with her. Together, they organized events that celebrated diversity, inviting students from different backgrounds to share their cultures and stories. The school continued to improve. Teachers received training on diversity and inclusion, and new policies were put in place to prevent bullying and hate. Maya saw that change was possible when people came together and spoke up, though the pain from the Noose incident never completely disappeared. Maya learned to carry it with strength instead of fear. She knew she was part of something important, a movement toward kindness and respect that could help many others. One day, as Maya and her father played basketball in the backyard, she asked him, "Dad, how do you stay so strong when things are hard?" Marcus smiled and said, "It's not that I'm never scared or sad. It's that I keep moving forward because I believe in something bigger than myself, family, justice, and kindness." "You have that same strength inside you." Maya looked up at the sky and felt a quiet hope fill her heart. Oh, she knew the journey wasn't over, but she was ready for whatever came next. She wasn't just a girl who faced hate. She was a young leader, shining her light to help others find theirs. And in that moment, surrounded by the love of her family and the support of her friends, Maya felt truly free. 2. Maya's story became more than just something that happened to her. It became a beginning for change in her school and her community. The days after the Noose incident were hard, but the weeks and months that followed brought new hope. School had learned important lessons about respect and kindness, and Maya was at the heart of this change. The school started new programs to teach students about different cultures and backgrounds. They held special days where students could share stories, food, and music from their families. Maya loved these days. She felt proud to share her own culture with others and was happy to learn about theirs. It helped students see that even though they looked different or had different experiences, they all had something in common: a desire to be accepted and respected. Maya's voice grew stronger too. She became a quiet leader at school, not because she wanted attention, but because others saw her courage and wanted to follow her example. She helped organize groups that worked to stop bullying and make the school safer. Maya's friends stood by her side, and even some students who had been distant before started joining in. At home, Marcus and Maya's mom watched with pride. As Maya blossomed, Marcus would often remind her, strength isn't just about fighting. It's about forgiveness, understanding, and standing up for others. Maya learned to forgive not just the students who hurt her, but also the idea that hate could define her. She chose instead to define herself by kindness and courage. Some of the students who had been involved in the bullying began to change too. After facing consequences and hearing from teachers, counselors, and even Maya herself, a few of them reached out with apologies. It wasn't easy for Maya to accept at first, but she realized that forgiveness could help heal wounds on both sides. These moments didn't erase the past, but they opened the door for new beginnings. The community around Lakewood began to talk about what had happened. Local leaders invited Marcus and Maya to speak at events about bullying and respect. Maya's story inspired many people to think about how they treat others and to stand up against hate in their own lives. Even outside school, neighbors started looking out for one another more. Parents spoke with their children about kindness and understanding. The town began to feel like a place where everyone could belong. Maya's schoolwork improved as well. Feeling safe and supported helped her focus and dream bigger. She started thinking about what she wanted to do when she grew up. She knew she wanted to help people, maybe as a teacher, counselor, or even a community leader. Whatever path she chose, she wanted to make a difference, just like her father did in his own way. One evening, as Maya sat on the porch with her parents, she reflected on everything that had happened. The pain and fear she felt at first had turned into strength and hope. "I'm glad I didn't stay silent," she said softly. "Even though it was scary, speaking up helped me find my voice." Marcus smiled and nodded. "You've taught us all a lesson, Maya. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to stand tall and show kindness, even when it's hard. That's what makes a true leader." Maya looked up at the stars shining above. She knew the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but she was ready. She had her family, her friends, and the strength inside her heart. Her story was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through. It was a call for everyone to stand together, to respect one another, and to build a better future. Maya's courage had helped her school and her community grow, and it inspired others to do the same. And so, from a painful beginning, a journey of healing, learning, and unity had begun, a journey that would continue for years to come, lighting the way for many more voices to be heard and hearts to be opened